Kia ora and welcome into the Full 90 podcast with Jacob Spurnley and Nick Hyde. This week, co-authored by the Wigan first team analyst, Kevin Mulligan. So, nice to have you listening, Mully. This will be the second podcast in a series of 3. Last week we had Mossy. This week we've got another really special guest, someone who's going to be able to talk to you about their first-hand experience at the 2010 World Cup. As always, it's been a big week, but this time we're looking at matters off the field. It's been a big week for you, Heidi. New job, big deal, going up and down the country, currently in Gizzy.
Yeah, you've sent me down here to Gizzy, one of the old favourite grounds of New Zealand football, Childers Road Reserve. It's the home of players like Ross Nicholson, Tim Cook, Shane Gillies, Jimmy Cudd, and of course the once famous home of Big Kevin Fallon. So down here in Gizzy, big news. We're going to check the place out, to be perfectly honest, mate, and it's still got one of those big old kind of 1970s stands. It looks great, mate. It should be a National League ground. It would bring a lot of character back into the game. So first time in Gisborne, really enjoyed it. It's got a lot of history in New Zealand football, so really enjoying my time down here. This
episode's guest is someone who's very, very special to New Zealand football. A player that I've played with quite a bit. No sex dolls involved in this hype, which is probably a good thing.
We haven't heard yet.
He's amassed over 100 Football League games for Barnsley, Doncaster and Scunthorpe. Easily the sexiest names in football. He's played 28 times for the All Whites and he's scored 3 goals. But importantly, he was a member of the 2010 World Cup. This episode, we welcome on David Mulligan. Mully, what's going on, mate?
Yes, guys. Yeah, thanks for having me. Good to be on.
So I didn't know this, but Heidi's actually played a lot with your older brother, Kevin. And as we touched on at the top of the pod, he's someone that's been quite influential in this. Feelings about that, Mul?
Yeah. I don't know what he's been saying. He could have said anything, but he knows, the ins and outs of my career and some of the funny stories that went on and the good times and the bad as well. He's always a phone call away and, someone to lean on or, bit of advice or just have a football yarn with as well. But yeah, he was all right footballer back in the day. But it's just not quite as good as
We'll get Heidi to verify that. What was your experience with Mulligan Senior?
Yeah, look, Kev was a great guy in the club, and I you might be able to verify the story for us, Mully, but was he dating Robbie Fowler's sister when he came over?
Yeah. I think they would have been. They might have been married at that time. I'm not too sure, but they might have been, actually. Yeah, they were dating, I think, and then next time he came back, he was married with had a baby. Yeah, and he's now 17, Luke. So, but yeah, he at one stage. I was related to Robbie Fowler, sort of.
Yeah, so let's park that for a moment, because I didn't know about this. I've known you for about 10, 15 years, Mul.
Yeah, I'll try to keep that quiet, Spinners, because I know you're a Liverpool fan.
What, knowing me?
I'm still trying to keep it quiet.
Yeah.
So you were engaged to Robbie Fowler? Oh, so not engaged, related to Robbie Fowler.
Oh, easy on, Jacob. That'll cause chaos.
Yeah. Tell me about it. So yeah, when I was obviously over in England, the majority of the time, at the start, he was married with her, and every off season or every couple of weeks, I would go to Liverpool, and either stay at the house or Robbie Fowler's house if he went away to wherever, in the off season he went to Portugal, America. They'll home sit, massive big mansion, play on his virtual golf system, play snooker, you know what I mean? So and have the music pumping.
Have you thrown a party at Robbie Fowler's house?
No, but
sure.
You know what? It was a massive house, and obviously you just got to respect that. But it was one of the off seasons. But just to play golf and anywhere around the world in the virtual golf system that he had, and putting music on obviously, and he's got all his shirts and it's pretty surreal.
Yes. So World Cups. That's what we're here to talk about, Mel. 2010 being the topic of conversation. But before that, we have this one very important game against our cousins from across the Tasman. And we're thinking it's going to be like any other preparation game for the World Cup. Yet someone hasn't told the Aussies, and they come storming out of the changing rooms like they're going to war. Were you guys ready for that?
Yeah, literally we weren't. Like, obviously, there's no friendlies in football, obviously, and when it comes to New Zealand, Australia. But when you're so close to going to a World Cup, you don't jeopardize, anyone. And, you play football, you don't go out there to hurt people, right? You don't go out there to, take their sort of dream away. And in the tackles that you've seen, especially that one on Leo, that was, I'm going to hurt you. I'd love a tackle.
Well, there's two, Mel, and I know you love a tackle. There's two, but for some reason they're both on Leo, and for some reason they both involve Leo's right shin. So I think it's the first is the Vinny Griller one where he gets roasted on the sideline, like a proper lines Leo up. Vinny Griller goes through him, hits him 2 foot on the shins, and it's late, which is ridiculous. And then the second one, not long thereafter, is the same one on Leo, and Timmy Cahill's coming to charge the ball down, hits him on the shin again, and at that point Leo's like, I've got to go off. Later on in the game, Timmy Brown ends up, dislocating his shoulder or breaking his...
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
And lucky Leo it wasn't that bad. His shin was horrendous. The look of it was swelling up. There was like dents everywhere on his shin. But, Cahill was not really that type of player. I know, and Grella is, the sort of small man syndrome type. But I was warming up on that side there, and I seen that, and I was just like, he's not going to do that.
Which one were you there for? So you're there for the Vinny Griller one, which is on the side.
Yeah, the Vinny right there, literally probably 5-10 yards away, and I just couldn't believe it that he went in 2 foot on Leo.
Because he lines him up, doesn't he?
Yeah,
he's about 4 or 5 yards away.
He slowed down, and and then towards the end he sprinted up. He's 2 foot off the floor. I can't believe the ref hasn't even sent him off. Everyone's like obviously yelling. That the other one with Leo, how high Tim Cahill, his studs are up. So first of all, studs are up, at knee height, and Leo is jumping as well.
And there's no ball anywhere near it.
There's no ball anywhere, and so it was a bit of that was a disgrace really. They should have been both sent off. If that was in an actual World Cup or in the game, you're sent off. But one thing maybe, if they would they have missed the World Cup? I'm not too sure. But
this is why you look at someone like Mossy, who misses 4 games for swearing at a ref, and then you look at some of those tackles and you think, where is the justice and what's going on here?
And then you look at Tim Brown as well. When Nelly wasn't, he was our leader. I think after that, it sort of changed within the group. Everyone, how's Leo doing? Everyone's concerned with him, and same with Brownie as well. So, and I think it brought the group tighter, and it was pretty frustrating. And I can't believe that's a straight ref for me. That's worse than Mossy's, incident when only one ref is But how has Mossy got 4 matches when Zidane headbutts in the World Cup gets 3? It's mind blowing, right?
Mossy is an angry man.
I know, yeah, you would be though. But he's. But if he was playing, would he have saved the penalty? These things like.
That's a good point. Point.
So it's mind blowing.
A good question for you, Molly. You had played in the vast majority of those matches leading up, and then we kind of get to the series with Bahrain, which is obviously a really important series, and suddenly the tactics changed completely, didn't they? We went from no longer playing with kind of fullbacks, and then suddenly it was the 3 centre backs and kind of wide wing backs. How did you feel about that, having contributed so much along the qualifying, and then you must have thought you'd done a really good job? And it's not only that, but you add creativity and you're a set piece specialist as well. How were you feeling when it got to those Bahrain games?
Yeah, listen, it was a mixture of both, of my fault, and also why wasn't I given a proper chance when I was at Phoenix. I think the first year at the Phoenix, obviously, it's difficult when your national coach is also your club coach as well. So that first year, I don't know if you want to get into it, but the first year was probably, it was a bad experience for me. It was probably the worst. I had a really bad attitude. So probably deserved everything I got with that one. But the second year, I was probably one of the best players, and it was just unfortunate that I never got a sort of chance to really prove that. And that's
probably worthwhile jumping into, Mel. So is this 2008 when you signed?
Yeah. So 2008, I came back, and at that time, I was over football, and then I was just sort of coming back. Oh, it's a holiday, that's all I was thinking. 2 years, and then that's it, But it was really bad, sort of from my side, my whole attitude towards it. I've learned from that over the past, and then I think it was the second year, and I spoke to my wife. I was like, I could turn up to training that second year and just do the exactly same. I'm not going to get nothing from it. And I thought, I'm actually living a really, playing football, living in a lovely place. Got, my wife. So life was actually really good. But I was just treating that the first year, I was just taking a mick, really. So I thought I'll knuckle down, do as well as I can, train as hard as I can, not say a word, and I just want to focus on, there could be worse things out there in life for people. So I just thought I'd just turn up every single day with a smile on my face, do my job, and if I get caught upon, I get caught upon. If I don't sulk, just turn up every single day again and do it until if it pays off. And lucky enough, okay, I didn't play in that Bahrain, but I sort of played a part beforehand, and I like to say, if I was given that chance, I was ready because of what I had gone through.
Your brother told me that you were looking at a pretty good long-term contract at one stage in your younger career, and he told you, keep your head down, don't cause any trouble, don't go out in the large. And what happened?
Sterling 6, I believe, happened.
Yeah. It was like I say, we were 19, 20, 21, and at that time, I had played in the Championship. We were in League One at Barnsley. Loving living the dream type, and thinking nothing can touch us, and just basically probably partying a bit too much. Anyway, we were up in Stirling, up in Scotland, away for pre-season.
Tropical.
Yeah, it was amazing. I think there's another team. I think Cardiff were there as well. But we were staying at this university place, and it was awful. I think the manager wanted to get it out of getting the sticks out of our comfort zone. But they had a couple of bars, and also a uni bar as well.
So away from those chili cakes, Mel. What did you get out from the chili cakes?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So one night, we've gone for a drink, or the whole team. The manager said, "Listen, guys, go have a couple of drinks. Be back at 10:30." And we're like, "Okay, cool." So we're out. We're having a bit of a taste of it. 3 beers deep, and everyone's like, "Let's just stay out." We're pre-season. If everyone sticks together, he can't do nothing, right?
It's so dangerous. So I love the line. If everyone does it, we'll be fine. It's fucking brilliant.
Yeah. So one of the guys, sort of the older player, and also the guy who the manager just signed, he was going around, guys, listen, let's stay out. And there was me and Rory. I said, Ross, listen, he's just signed. Like, manager loves him, and he's the older player.
Good logic, Mel.
Yeah.
Good logic.
What are they going to do here? We just need the vice captain to stay with us. The vice captain did. So anyway, the captain goes, "Nah, let's go home. We'll go back to the uni. We'll come back out in 3 days' time." And we're like, "Oh, sorry." So we're on the way home. On the way home, there's a uni bar. So we thought, let's pop in here. So 7 of us scooted away, and we have.
Mel, I imagine Stirling's not big, so you've left the bar that you're allowed to go to. You're walking back to the hotel, and on the way, you're like,
"Oh, it wasn't a hotel. It's like uni complex." Yeah, and
So you're thinking uni complex or neon lights with another lager?
That's what I mean, So yeah, we thought let's get in here. The music was pumping as well, to be fair. And I've got two Budweisers in hand.
There's a poor beer from you. I can understand where this is.
I've got 2 Budweisers. It's a uni bar, I've got 2 Budweisers in hand. Some of the other guys are getting a couple of drinks as well. And as I've turned around the corner to go into, to see some of the other boys. About 6 of the managers and the coaching staff would walk towards me. So I was just turned around, put my beer and that on the side, and thought, okay, well, I'll see you later. I'll go back. I'm in trouble. I know I'm in trouble. So we all go back to the uni. Next morning, he goes, reads out the names. Can you all stand up? We all stood up. We thought, what's going to happen? Is he going to make us run, or like what kind of punishment are we going to have here? And he goes, you 7, get your bags, get on the train. I don't care how you get home. See you next week. So we're like, and just before that whole trip, the year before, I was in negotiations with a 3-year contract to sign with Barnsley. So that year, going in after what happened, we went to administration. So, so we went back to Barnsley. Next day, it was Sterling 7 gets sent home, and it's got all our photos.
Mug shots.
Mug shots in the newspaper. So it didn't go down with the chairman.
So what's happened to the contract? It's just gone.
So I met with the chairman that week. He said, "Listen, you have to back up your ideas. We would have signed it this week, but what you've just gone and done, you've ruined it for yourself." So so for that whole season. I'm getting back in the good plans, the manager's plans. And then we went into admin. New manager came in, new season. I got number 7 shirt, which is my favorite shirt. This is the craziest story. Got number 7 shirt. I played right wing against QPR at Loftus Road.
Whew.
And then we lost that game, I think 2-1. And then we come back to Barnsley. I wasn't even on the bench. I was in the stands. The following week, in the stands again, didn't say nothing. And then the third week, New Zealand had a game. And so I said, listen, I knocked on his door. I said, Gaffer, listen, I haven't played for the last 2 weeks now. This is my 3rd week. I'm not match fit. Can I go away with New Zealand, get some match fit, come back, and then we go again? And he goes, yeah, go away, stay away, and don't come back. I was like, what? And he goes, yeah, I don't want you. You clearly don't want to be here. So close the door on your way out.
Wow.
Yeah.
This thing I don't know. So this is one point I've been trying to make to people is I don't think they appreciate how cutthroat it is overseas. Like literally, it's a fiefdom. The manager, his word goes, and he's got the last word. Once the guillotine has fallen, you're done. That's it. That's it. Well,
so I had a great contract. It was a really good contract as well, and 3 years, and I was 20.
So dominoes are falling. Sterling 6.
Yeah.
Into number 7.
Yep.
Into QPR or Crystal Palace, sorry, and then all of a sudden just asking the question, thinking it's going to be good for you. Go away with New Zealand, and you're done.
So that's all in a space of 1 year. One football season, yeah.
Well, look, we've obviously got to get on to the World Cup. But,
let's move on to some fun stuff, like playing for New Zealand. And
yes, I think we've got one question about 2006, Hyde, which you have the honours of.
2006,
Mossy has stitched you up here, Mully. Mossy
2006,
really.
That friendly game against Brazil.
Yeah.
So Mossy gave us the big insight in the fact that when I asked him what was going on in the changing room before the match, he was saying that you and Christy were more interested in getting shirts swapped than anything else. But your brother told me that you actually clattered Ronaldinho quite hard, and the Brazilians at one stage weren't looking too favourably to swap shirts with you after that.
I don't think they swapped any shirts. I don't know how if Mossy got one.
With you, obviously, after you clattered Ronaldinho, no one's going to swap shirts.
I went in afterwards and I said, swap shirts. Looked at Robinho. He had 2 shirts in his hand, and he went, nah, and just threw it to his kit man. And so I just thought, you're a bit of a douchebag. So I went back to the room, got my clean shirt, came back and just got them all to sign it.
Yeah, was that kind of a moment where you went, what a bunch of dicks,
seriously? That's what
the love of football, and here's an opportunity. We're a small country, and he's just done something like that.
Yeah, and it was, obviously he was at the time, I think, he was signed to sign at Real Madrid. I think Ronaldo, I couldn't see him, couldn't see Ronaldinho, Kaká, those
They're
types
quite
of
small,
players.
Mole. They're quite tall. So I
Yeah,
can
yeah,
understand
yeah.
that.
So I was like Rubinho, and he literally had 2 shirts in his hand, and which is pretty known. But I had a drugs test just before, straight after the game. So I was in the complex with Z Roberto. So tried to have a bit of banter with him, got nothing. And they just,
So
she's
is
just
the
straight face.
conclusion here, the 2006 Brazilian World Cup team, the defending World Cup champions,
Yeah,
they have snubbed Mully.
yeah. I
That's
don't know why.
That's brilliant. That's
And you
phenomenal.
think it might be because of the tackle that you did on Ronaldinho that they were worried that he couldn't play in the World Cup?
It could have been that, or I remember.
There's another one.
Yeah, when the ball goes out, and you ping it back, to sportsmanship. I pinged it back and I sliced it, and instead of going out for the goalkeeper, went out for it like right in the corner of the flag for a throw-in. So I was like, yeah,
So
sorry about that.
you've twatted Ronaldinho, and then
Yeah.
in a friendly game when you're supposed to give the ball back, you've just sliced one out and it's gone for like a Bodie Barrett touch finder.
Yeah.
Housery did in the friendly match. That's
Yeah.
brilliant.
So, I was like, the ball, I can't remember who threw the ball. Maybe Noah threw the ball from a throw. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to show, I can ping it, And I thought, grass cutter all the way down to, Dida, so he just hits the ricochet and he can pick it. Yeah, thanks, mate. And I absolutely sliced it. I was like, oh, my. And the crowd's like booing. And they're looking at me and I'm like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it,
I don't think that's the reason why they didn't want to swap shirts with you, Mel.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. Something that not everyone will know is that on the night before the Bahrain game, there was a bit of a players' meeting, wasn't there? And there's a bit being said, and we don't want to get on all of what was said, but what you've just touched on there, that the players were pretty tight. Do you think that would happen in most teams or any other team? What was kind of organised between the players the night before the Bahrain game?
Yeah, it was just. I've never been in a team sort of like that. It was like I was always excited to come and play for New Zealand, to see like sort of all my mates again, even though maybe at times the setup and it wasn't quite right, but just to see everyone again, just to smile on your face. And that group, if you had anything bad going on, it was like you wouldn't think of that, because you're always just having a good time, having a laugh, and just getting away from football. But it was that night, it was just, what does the World Cup mean to you? What will this game mean to you? What will going forward mean to you? So it sort of went round, and a couple of players, sort of the older boys, and there's the guys who sort of, the likes of talk out within the group, were saying a couple of things, and Rory, Nelly, Simon as well. So it's Brownie, and what it means to them, and
it's quite stoic people, weren't they? They weren't people that kind of opened up a lot, but on that night they seemed to really open up and just basically discuss what it would mean for them, and
that's
what it would mean for the country, and I guess what ultimately happened.
Yeah, and that's the kind of group we had. It was a group that, listen, you can say anything. You can share or put on the floor here. Like, we're not here to judge or whatever. What does it mean, and what have the last couple of years meant to you playing for New Zealand, and imagine going forward what can happen. So it's just bringing that belief in. But that group was, it was a phenomenal group. Like you've seen that group, Sprinters. You had been involved in that with that group as well. It's once you're sort of in, that they bring you in, and it's good.
It's like a gravitational pull, isn't it, Mel? It's something that's forged over a number of years, and then you're right, you're going to get pulled in without knowing it. And once you're in, it's very hard to escape. But there was definitely a feeling that I felt, kind of being a younger player in that group, that there was a core there of people that had experienced so much together. I mean, looking at your Barnsley team, Leo, yes, he didn't ultimately go that, make it to that Bahrain game, but you got Rory that scores the goal. So you boys have been doing this for years, and I think that's not something that everyone appreciates, is that the Bahrain game is literally the result of 10 or 15 years of trust and combination between these players. Let's now move on from that wonderful night in Wellington and head towards South Africa. So the 2010 World Cup, the preparation, there's the domestic camp, there's the wonderful build-up in Europe, but let's jump straight into South Africa. So I think something that not everyone appreciates is the FIFA bubble. Where were you guys staying for the tournament?
Oh, it was probably the best setup. I think England wanted our setup. It was phenomenal. Phil, our manager, knew sort of the guy who owned the whole complex, like a billionaire, who built it all, and all these massive big mansions, and said, listen, I'm manager of the All Whites. We're coming to New Zealand, South Africa for the World Cup. Where can we stay? And he goes, listen, you can stay at my...
my place.
Yeah, at my place, basically. So the houses there was a whole new housing estate, schools as well. It was a part of a golf course. So there was Kennedy schools, there was intermediate, primary. So I think it was going to be like 2,500 houses there, gated community, right? So one section, I think it was like about 15 houses. He had paid for, I think, 6 of the houses for their families to go on holiday, while we stayed in their mansions, 5-6 bedroom and every single one had a pool.
So he has paid for the families to leave the place where they're staying, paying a lot of money just to make sure that David Mulligan, Jeremy Christie, Aaron Clapham and Rory Fallon can have a place to stay during the World Cup.
Basically, yeah. And these were massive mansions. Like me and Mossy room, we both had a double bed. We had this button where you would press the button, the blinds would just come up, and it would just be, the view would just be amazing. And had ensuite with a shower and everything. And we
so what are you looking at? Is it a golf course?
No, it's just it was just all reserve. It was just there was nothing there. And you know what's crazy about it? The guy said to Phil, I will build you a football pitch if you want it. And Phil said, no, that's too much. You can't. You've done enough for us already. we're like, because we had to travel 40 minutes to get to the training pitch. Every single day.
Oh, Phil.
I know, and that's what we said. We said, Phil, what are you playing at? But he got it, and we got around in golf carts, which was pretty cool. So every house had a pool. And a couple of golf carts.
What happened on those golf carts, Mom?
Yeah, that's an interesting story.
Yeah, there was a couple of races every day, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and
let's focus on a particular race, Mom.
Yeah, well, it was. I think I can't remember what game it was. Maybe before the Italy game, or maybe Paraguay. I can't really say.
Doesn't matter. We'll get onto the game.
Just a major race New Zealand might have been playing.
Yeah, I can't say who it was, but I'll say the big players for us. We're going under a tunnel, coming out the tunnel, and one thought, well, I go past someone. I go past them, to beat them. As they went past them, they didn't see it was like a hill, but as they went up the hill, they flipped. So went up, the car flipped onto its side, rolled over. You just see one of the guys go flying out, and I think the other one stayed in there, and the car was on top of him. And yeah, that player is still playing. I can't tell you who it is, but can
you imagine the headlines? Seriously. Hey, just on those hijinks in and around the camp, there were quite a few kind of homemade videos, particularly with Rory kind of sharing his musical skills and his positivity amongst the camp. And I think it was a really nice way for the New Zealand public to connect with what you guys were going through and things like that. But that was something that we got to see. But from your point of view, there was some really, like Nelly as a leader and Simon Elliott and Duncan Oughton. Can you just give us a bit of a heads up on how they inspired you guys to achieve what you did? Because really, when the team was to the World Cup, we were kind of hoping we'd score a goal. The expectations went there, but that wasn't what was going through your camp, was it?
Yeah, we wanted to, obviously go as far as we could do. The belief that was in that group was, if we all believe and we all work together, we could we can overcome anything. And with Nelly, it was such a you could go to him, anyone could go to him and just talk to him, even though he was, it was our superstar. He was, everyone looked up to him. Same with Simon as well. And the way they, every single day turned up in training, setting examples for everyone. Even like rest days, they would still go and do certain things in the gym as well. So it was just like, wow, these guys are like at the top of the game, and they're still, this is what they're doing. And these are the reasons why they're at the top of the game. But the belief they sent within that group was phenomenal. I remember the first game, we had an analyst was talking about the game, and Ryan said, "Listen, mate, sorry, didn't mean to be mean, but can you just go out the room while we talk?"
So hold up, let's paint the picture, Mel. So you're doing the final preparation for the game against Slovakia.
Yeah.
And you've got an analyst coming in saying the right back does this. He looks to drive inside, which releases, the centre forward. He looks to get beyond. And now he's just gone, hand up. Sorry, mate. Just spin it, off you go. And then what's said once he leaves the room?
Well, it had gone on for a bit too long. So this, it was good reviewing, how they play the systems and stuff like that. And it got to a point where Nelly's like, I don't even know you. Can you just go out the room? And Nelly was just being frank. It was just, listen, guys, we can watch this till, our eyes bleed or whatever. We can overstudy this, but it's what's in your heart. It's, we have to all want it. We have to work for each other. I believe every single one of you here is 10 times better than them. I've seen them play. They're not good, so, and he was just, what he was just speaking, it was like, man, I can, it was phenomenal. And after that sort of level chat, we're like, something's good's going to happen here, and he wasn't there for like half an hour. It was like just a 5-minute sort of chat, just saying how good we were as players, individuals, and collectively as a team as well.
I think the most powerful thing that I've ever heard Nelly say is on the eve of the Olympics in 2008. He said, New Zealand teams have in the past got 60 minutes into a game and then realised they're good enough to be here. But at that point, you're 2-0 down. So instead of waiting for the 60 minutes to be up, let's go out tomorrow night and play like we're good enough from the first minute. And it sounds quite cheap when you say it out of context, but when you say it in a room full of people that have been working for so long to achieve even a chance of something at a tournament or at a stage like that, and then you get this person that is earning more than the All Blacks combined, says, you are good enough, off you go, come with me, I'm going over the breach, are you going to follow? You're like, fucking absolutely, I'm going to war with this guy. Do you think that's the reason why Winston Reid pops up late doors and gets that header against Slovakia?
100%. It's like I say, having that belief, not having your head down. And as that game went on, it was like, we're going to win here, or we're going to get a point here. And it was always that we can do it. And you seen, when the celebration went in, everyone just rushed over.
Yeah, where are you? Where are you in that celebration, Mark?
Yeah, I'm
because Snotty almost ends up in the water, doesn't it?
No, you can see my hair. But I'm definitely there. I usually know what. In the other teams I've played in, I usually time it so I can jump really high and then be on top of everyone. But this one, because where everyone was running and I couldn't time it, and everyone just stopped because there was a massive big ditch. So I was just there, with my hand up. But it was otherwise. Everyone would have fell right down. It was like a massive big, like 5-meter drop or so.
I mean, obviously you've got two great results against Slovakia and Italy. You're up against Paraguay. I'm sure things are, being said before the match. You're there watching the game, and I guess time is ticking by. You haven't been used, and we need a goal. Were you surprised not to be given an opportunity at that stage? I mean, you offer creativity and you offer the ability from a set piece dead ball situation that possibly could have scored a goal that could have won it. Any frustration there?
Yeah, I you know what, I still think about it even now. I was just like, why didn't he bring me on? If it was just 5-10 minutes, imagine if we had a free kick, and if you asked all the players like after training every single day at in the world when we were away, I was doing free kicks, because I thought, you know what, I might actually get a chance here. You know, like 5-10 minutes. He put me on, you know, especially in that last game. So I was just always practicing it, thinking, you know, if he needs me, I'm there. And I was just, he put Andy Barron on, and I was a bit gutted with that. But then, you know, you look at Brownie, he didn't put on, I think, Siggy and Mike McGlinchey as well. So, and Brownie was our vice captain. So, yeah, it was a weird choice, I guess.
Yeah, you're being very humble there, mate. And look, I think obviously you're not the only person that's got a couple of questions about what happened towards the back end of that game. And let's not really undermine it at all. It was phenomenal. 1-1 against Slovakia, 1-1 against Italy, and then 0-0 against Paraguay. I still think we were just inches away. We were just a little spark away from really setting that one alight. And I think, is it Woodsy that pops up late doors and maybe gets a shot away?
Yeah, it is Woodsy, yeah. But like I say, imagine if you know, we would have won the game and gone to the next round. You know what I mean? Like, what if, you know? And I think if we would have been sort of more aggressive in that game, maybe it's, you know, looking back, maybe the players maybe should have said, you know, let's go for it. Who cares, you know, what's been said? Like, let's really go for it here. But you know, there's not many teams that go unbeaten, and I think maybe that record was probably wanted it more. I don't know.
Yeah. What was the feeling like then, mate? Because you're right,
It was
unbeaten at a World Cup.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're disappointed that you don't advance, but then it goes to the end of the World Cup and you guys are the only undefeated team.
It was a mixture. A lot of players were you know, sort of not upset, but like, you know, we could have done better there. We should have really gone on to the next phase. You know, we should have pushed on. We should have been more aggressive. And then others were like, man, that was some ride. You know, like we came out unbeaten there. Do you know what I mean? So there was sort of two ways to sort of look at with that one. But yeah, I think it goes down in history as an unbeaten team. And if we were gone to the next round, is it talked about through the World Cup circles? I'm not too sure, but it was definitely an experience that I'll never forget. And then on the plane on the way back as well was pretty crazy.
Oh yeah, what happened there? Because I've been on a plane on the way home from a World Cup. I wasn't on the fun bus. That was the other flight. Unfortunately, I was on the flight that had minimal characters, shall we say. So what is a flight home like with an All Whites team that has just gone undefeated at a World Cup?
Well, that one was a chartered one, so it was just all the players.
That sounds very dangerous, Mel.
Yeah, I think maybe John Key was on that one. I'm not too sure. He was definitely on one of them. He was on the Italy one. But no, that Paraguay.
So not only do you have a bunch of players that are looking for a good time, you've also got a man that can increase the national debt level.
Yeah. No, well, you know, FIFA pays for it all, you know. But yeah, the flight home was back to where we were staying. We had a couple of beers, you know, and some sing along songs and stuff like that. Music going. But you know, it was a good time. But like I say, some people were, you know, we could have went further.
Bittersweet.
Yeah.
So, Mel, you've been playing in England for a while now, and there's an infamous story about the All Whites and their tour of South America. It involves the end of the tour and how you guys are going to get back home. There's a core group of players that have gone on to do a lot for New Zealand football subsequently. Are you able to take us through what it was like trying to leave? I think it was Venezuela.
Yeah, it was an eye opener.
So this is when you've played. Is it Chile and Venezuela, and then?
No, they've already played Chile, and then they're playing Venezuela afterwards. So I was in England, and we don't stop. So I've been playing. My manager Nigel Atkins calls Ricky up and goes, "Ricky, Mully's here. Do you want him for this trip? Because if he goes, he won't. When he comes back, we'll probably win because we'll win all the time. He won't get a spot. I've got another year on my contract, right? He won't get a spot, but do you really need him? And he goes, yeah, we definitely need him. So he goes, okay, Mully, I tried to, I can't. If I would have stayed, he would have sanctioned the FIFA rule where if I stay, I still don't play anyway. So I was in whether I go.
So if you stay in Scunthorpe, you can't play because you've been asked to go play for your national team.
Yeah.
And he said no.
Unless he doesn't select him.
Yeah. Unless if I'm injured as well, but I wasn't because I was playing, and he would have checked up as well. So I still had another year, and we're about to get promoted to the championship. So that would have been massive. So I fly over. So I get no details. All of details I've been told is get on this plane. When you get to Venezuela, they will be there to meet you. So I was like, okay, here's your ticket, boom. So I fly into Venezuela, must have been 10 o'clock in the morning. No one's there. No one can speak English, right? No one can speak English. I'm sitting there waiting, there must be late traffic. 1 o'clock in the afternoon comes, nothing. 2 o'clock, nothing. 6 o'clock, there's flights coming in. I'm standing up. This might be them. No one. 9 o'clock, no one. 11 o'clock, no one. 2 o'clock in the morning, police come out, like they're shutting the airport. They're closing it down. 2 o'clock in the morning, police come and goes, are you a footballer? I was the only one in the airport. Like they literally nearly ushered me out. I said, yeah. He goes, down there, your team. So I go down there and they're like clapping me on. I was like, how long have you guys been waiting? He goes, an hour. I said, I've been waiting here since like this morning. And they were like, no way. I was like, yeah. So we play in that game. Yeah, terrible game. We get smashed. Afterwards, we find out there's no flight to take us back. Go down. When you play in a different country, they saw all their flights out and everything, but they hadn't. So there's a group of us that played over in UK, and there was some that played obviously back in New Zealand and Australia. So I think there's about 7 of us. So we get split. One group goes one way, one goes the other. So we're waiting basically it's red hot. Like the hottest place I've ever been. On tarmac, there's no shade, no trees, no nothing.
So you're not in the airport. You are out on the runway.
Yeah, we're out on the runway. There's like private planes and stuff. And they said, "Oh, listen, we'll get you a plane. We'll get you a plane, and it will go to wherever." They said, "Oh, wherever there, we'll get you there with connect the flights and stuff like that." So, okay, cool. We must have been waiting there for about 10 to 12 hours. So we hop on every single plane, small plane that landed. Is this us? No, it's not you guys. Is this us? No, it's not you guys. So eventually, we get on a plane. Before we get on that plane, we got told that, okay, we're going to go Panama. Someone's going to be there to meet you. They'll pick you up, take you to the hotel. We're like, okay, cool, fine. And then
was Pablo Escobar there?
That's right. Yeah. So this is insane. So we fly through in this private plane, land in Panama, get through customs, just like no one's there to meet us. So we're like, hold up, someone's meant to be here. So Ivan calls New Zealand Football says, listen, we're stranded. Can you help us out? Someone there goes, listen, I've got to go on my lunch break. I'll pass you on to someone else to sort out. So, so we're there for about 45 minutes on the phone. Someone's used their credit card for this phone call. So we managed to get like a sort of emergency sort of stay or visa, I don't know, something, to go to the hotel. So we'll go to the hotel. We're phoning all our parents or our girlfriends or wives or whatever. And so we got through to them. Okay, we have some food. We have a couple of drinks. Like, finally, we've had some journey here. Wake up in the morning. We've had to pay for our drinks because it wasn't covered by the insurance. We've had to pay for the phone calls not covered by insurance. So everyone's, splitting it and everything like that. And then we get from Panama, we get to fly to New York. And then from New York, this is what's even worse. New York, we're about probably an hour into the flight. The planes had to turn around because something's wrong with it. So we're, so we're
glamorous life being a footballer. Very glamorous.
So we're coming back, and then obviously we get back, and I've missed that game, the following game. So I was
probably
meant to
missed
be
a month's games.
Yeah, so I missed 2 games. I was only meant to miss one game. Yes, yeah, through that.
Did you get promoted though, Scunny?
Yeah, we got promoted, and we won the league, and I never played for Scunthorpe after that.
But does that mean we're now into the crazy questions, Jacob?
I think that means we're into the crazy questions, Nick.
Okay, all good. So, I mean, I guess a la Peter Crouch here, Mully, if it hadn't been for football, what would you have been doing with your life?
Working for New Zealand football.
Not much of a long bow there on that one, buddy.
Yeah. No, you know what? I wouldn't have a clue. You know, my dream was when I was a kid was football. Football. It was. I had little posters around my in my room. That's all I thought about. Come home from school. I had a ball. Went up to the school, kicked it against the wall. It was just football. And I remember I did a sort of a program interview in the UK, and someone asked me that question. And at the time, Zoolander had come out, and so
no.
So I just said, I love to be a male model, but I'm 5'5" or 5'6". Sorry. It was just a play on. I'm not going to be a model. The looks wise, the height, it just doesn't work. But I think I hope someone took that as a joke. You know what I mean? But
yeah, I'm just thinking this entire podcast is almost like a full circle. Where I'm in Gisborne, so Colin Walker from Gisborne gets you into Barnsley. We talk about Kevin Fallon, under 17. He's involved too. And now, it wasn't that long ago, we had Tamati Williams on being a male model, and now we find out that was your career choice. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's like New Zealand football is very incestuous. That's what they'll say.
Yeah. I remember being in Estonia, and I'm just having a drink. I think there was a coffee with me, Ivan, a couple other players, and I've just looked over, and he used to modify like a spirit. Is it?
Yeah, that's right, Mal. And that was his biggest ever campaign.
Yeah,
that was the one that he got paid the most for.
Yeah, and I've just looked over and I went, wait, no, is it?
That's.
And I went, there's Tamati Williams, and Ivan was like, oh shit, it is as well. And so we walked over to it, and it's him. Of all places, we're in Estonia, and because we didn't know, like he just left, and and so obviously,
And that's where he ended up.
Yeah.
So next one of my crazy questions. I need 2 grounds from you. What's the best football ground you've ever played in, and what's obviously the worst football ground you've ever played at?
The best. You know what? I'm gonna go the best just because it's so iconic, right? Main Road. Yeah.
So is this the debut ground, Mal?
No. The debut was at Barnsley at Oakwell. We got pumped there. They got promoted, and we got relegated. But it was their last. I think it was their last time they played at Main Road, as well. Pretty iconic. And Kelly was playing for Man. He was on the bench for Man City. That's a big one. And when we played against France, start of France, but I was on the bench for that one. But that's amazing. Okay, the worst one. Oh, worst one.
There's got to be some National League venues in Hemel.
Beecroft Park, Forest Hill, come to mind.
What? No.
On the lights, it's great.
Yes. Good call, Mal.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to say I'll go Stockport. Yeah. It was. I remember the time I had to come off that I had shin splints, but it wasn't because of that. It's because I've been on the sunbed that a couple of days prior, so I had prickly heat. So yeah.
You had shin burn.
Yeah. No. I said I had shin splints, but I actually had prickly heat all on my body and everything. I was itchy, and the pitch was horrendous. It was sand everywhere, and it was like a beach. And
I'm just thinking of you, fake tanned up, bleach blonde hair back in the day. I'm surprised you got two sleeves of tattoos. Is that
Oh yeah, I got one, but not back then. But it's I don't know what Stockport, what the pitch is like now. I think maybe they might have a new one, but at that time it was horrendous. It was just all sand everywhere, and just it wasn't a nice pitch.
All right. Well, look, I think that probably brings us to the end of the podcast. So, Mully, thank you so much for coming on, mate. Reminiscing about 2010 World Cup, which is now 10 years ago. So that's so hard to believe. Hyde, this is the second of the third in the series. Looking forward to our third guest. Hopefully we can lock that in the next couple of days. It will be an absolute doozy. So please stay tuned for that. Any last words from you, Hyde?
Yeah, just like Mossy, Mully, just wanted to say a big thank you. I think, that group that you talk about, if I look at yourself and some of those guys that were involved back in the 1999 Under-17 World Cup, you've contributed so much to New Zealand football. We're not a very good country at kind of thanking our sports people for doing the sacrifices that you make, and you've mentioned some of the hard things you go through, a lot of the good times, but I really appreciate you representing the country, and also what you're doing now with football and how much you've given back since you've come back to New Zealand. Probably a hard ask when you first came back to the Phoenix, and that was probably where the attitude was, because it's almost like, I'm back at the beginning and maybe this isn't really what I want to be. But I think since then, your contribution to local football, particularly up here in Auckland, has been huge. I know you've played down in the Hawke's Bay as well, and really got in around New Zealand and tried to share your knowledge and pass it on to others. So thanks so much for coming on, and obviously wish you all the best in the future.
No, and listen, guys, thanks for having me. It's always great to reminisce, talk about stories. Sometimes you don't get to do that. You have a career, and you sort of you forget the stories. So listen, it's great, and a part of coming back now is sort of giving back to the next generation, and I try and help out everywhere I can, and just enjoy football. Like I've said, I've had some amazing times. I've had some crappy times, but it's all about learning. You go through those kind of periods as well. But football is it's there. It makes everyone smile, makes everyone happy, and I'm just trying to help that the next ones come through, even if it's a little kind of advice I can give. And running out with Forest Hill, looking forward.
That's right, Mully.
I haven't played, which is crap. I said to, I can't remember who the other day, but I haven't played in the Prams for about 5 years now, like properly, 5 or 6 years. So I thought, over COVID, I get fit.
You've been doing it, mate, and I think that's the sort of commitment that you need to show, right? So you are a walking example of what it takes to kind of persevere in football.
Yes, I don't want to get to that stage and think, I could have played a couple of years ago, just kick a ball around. It's the best sport ever. That's why I fell in love with it, and it's just so good now to see so many kids playing it, boys and girls, and obviously with the Women's World Cup, it's massive for New Zealand. So I'm enjoying football, and
absolutely, mate. Well, look, thank you.
God, Liverpool won.
Exactly right, Mel. So full circle there, mate. Liverpool winning the Premier League for the first time in 30 years. What a beautiful way to finish the podcast.